What's wrong with you, Valyusha? You yourself are not your own, Nadezhda Ivanovna asked sympathetically when a social worker once again brought products. Valya, who really piled on a serious problem and knocked out of the rut, answered tiredly, "Everything is fine, it seemed to you." "Oh, baby," the elderly woman smiled, "you don't know how to lie." "Yes. And nothing. Tell me what happened. I'm not an enemy for you. You look, and tell you why the good. After all, a whole life is behind." Valya sat down on Nadezhda Ivanovna on the sofa, was silent for a while and began her story. "We divorced my husband 6 years ago. At first they lived well, together. And then he found another. And there would be no confessed right away, so no. He lived for 3 years. There, his child was born. And I did not even suspect anything, I trusted completely. But, the secret always becomes clear. So I accidentally found out about his second family. Not even accidentally, that woman herself came to me and told about everything. I could not forgive such a monstrous betrayal. I filed for divorce. He left, leaving me with 2 children. I took only my things. He did not claim an apartment. And, since the question of housing was not raised, I somehow forgot to write it out of the apartment. It was not before. It was necessary to live on, raise children. I then collected myself in pieces for quite some time. And 6 months ago he came to my house and said that he would live with us. Like, has the right to the room. Nightmare. You are my poor, the old woman gasped. Exactly. Imagine what is it like to see every day a person who is unpleasant for you. Furthermore, it turned out that he was still sick with something. So he claims that I will take care of him. He asks for forgiveness, begs not to leave in trouble. And only one voice is turning from me. I can't see him, and even more so to care for him. But nearby children, they see all this. I just don't know what to do. Nadezhda Ivanovna shook her head. Thinking for a few minutes, she said, "Oh, girl, I don't even know what to say. I know such stories. My friend, my Claudia, also divorced her husband. It was not possible to sell the apartment. So he and her ex-husband lived in it for 15 years, in different rooms. He was drinking, rowdy. Claudia took the money, and, if she did not give, he dragged things out of the house. She tormented it. Fortunately, the son already lived separately, did not see all this. And then the hubby fell ill. What to do? Where to put him? So Klava walked after him, but not 1 year. He lay for 5 years. They asked her, they say, why do you need this? And she, how else? A living person is still. My son's father. I can't otherwise. A strong woman, said Valya, who carefully listened to Nadezhda Ivanovna. And here's another case, the old woman continued. The couple divorced. The husband left his wife with 3 kids. And he left unknown where. So she had to raise her children without any help. And 20 years later, his wife was informed that his ex-husband was gone, and there was no one to take his last journey. It turned out that he lived in the village 100 kilometers from his former family. But he never asked, how is his children there? And what is she? Did you really go to him? I went. Together with the children, they were already adults. The father is, whatever it is. So she explained to them. Incredible. Valya was really struck by the actions of women, about which Nadezhda Ivanovna spoke about. It turns out that I should deal with my ex-husband, whom I can't stand the spirit. No, baby, should not. Decide for yourself what to do. In a different way, nothing. Oh, men, what do they think about? All their lives and children will be divorced, and then, help. Not all, of course. but there are a lot of them. And you think, girl, do not rub from the shoulder. All the same, women always went for the sick and wrong, in whom there is still as much love as not in us. Valia listened to the words of the woman, and decided not to argue with her ex-husband. She accepted him in her house. Every day I cooked, washed after him. They ate at the same table, and even watched the TV together. Then Valia offered him a good specialist, to whom they went together for a consultation. Thanks to joint efforts, Valentina's husband quickly got to his feet. And then the woman began to worry what her husband had achieved, and most likely would begin to show her character again. But she was mistaken. On the birthday of Valentina, her husband made her a surprise. While she was at work, he invited her friends, as well as close relatives. He prepared a lot of delicious salads and fried bar. While the guests were not going to the store, and with all the money that he had bought her a huge bouquet of white roses, and a gold chain with a pendant. When Valia came home from work, she did not believe her eyes. The husband became one knee, and asked her forgiveness. Valia forgave, and in the end they lived all their lives together, in love and joy.